Boxing Truth here. I wanted to talk about the situation brewing at Top Rank involving two of their clients in their stable, and that's Vasyl Lomachenko and Terence Crawford. Now, both guys are on the up. They're both getting recognition as pound for pound the best in the world, the top 10, pretty much around close to each other. Some consider Crawford top 5, others will consider Lomachenko within the top 10. The point is, they're both there, and I agree, both should be recognized as pound for pound. Now that Crawford finally got a significant win and he's unified the titles at 140, I'll put him in the top 10, even though he didn't please me with his performance. He won the fight, and now he's a unified champion and the best at 140. And Lomachenko, he's just delivering big-time performances, looking good in fights, and looking very, very damn special with all the skills and tricks that he displays in the ring. But I wanted to talk about both guys' future and how both guys are being brought up, and how Crawford is getting the push by Top Rank as perhaps being the next star in their stable, the next pay-per-view star. But I actually think Lomachenko has a better chance of being Top Rank's next pay-per-view star, simply because everyone has their preference. Everyone has what they like in terms of style or entertainment, and I prefer watching Lomachenko fight. I just more entertained. I'm more wowed by his performances. I'm more intrigued when he fights. I'm more intrigued with his style, his tricks. He just has more in his arsenal, in my opinion. And he's beautiful to watch. He's special. And you're just in awe when you watch him fight. I mean, look how people in boxing talk about him. People that have sparred with him say he's the truth. People in the industries, they already call him the great Lomachenko, and it's simply because no one's doing what he's doing in boxing. He's already won 2 world titles in less than 10 pro bouts, and he's already dispatching top level fighters in respective divisions at 126 and 130, and it's only gonna get the buzz surrounding Lomachenko is only going to get bigger, especially if he can keep delivering those type of performances. Now, Terence Crawford, he has this on his side. He's an American. Right now, he's probably considered one of the 2 best American fighters in the world, behind Andre Ward, or maybe even ahead of Andre Ward. But I still consider Andre Ward the best American fighter right now, because he's established more in his career compared to Terence Crawford, fought more formidable foes compared to Terence Crawford. But Crawford's coming off a significant win, but he had a stinker in his last fight, and if he continues to have those type of performances, it could really derail his momentum. It could turn him off to some fans, because some fans just don't like that style of fighting. So Crawford fought the way he did in the biggest fight of his career. He got the result in the victory, but he didn't get what he wanted in terms of entertainment. Now, another reason why I see Lomachenko as being perhaps the next pay-per-view star for Top Rank stable and not Terence Crawford is because of the rivals involved. You also need rivals, not just a great fighting style, and also some aura about you, some charisma about you, which is what Crawford is lacking right now. He needs to work on that. He needs to be more open to the media. He needs to have a more charismatic type of personality in order to break through that pay-per-view barrier. Now, Lomachenko doesn't speak English, but I think he has a more dynamic fighting style. I think he's more entertaining to watch. He has more tricks. He's more skillful. He has more in his arsenal, and he has the look to be a star. And if anybody could make a foreign fighter crossover, is Top Rank. They already proved it with Manny Pacquiao. Who the hell would have thought Manny Pacquiao coming onto the American scene 15 years ago would be as big as he got. Being able to average 1 million pay-per-view buys at one time. I mean, nobody would have thought that. So, if anybody could do it, it's Top Rank. They could definitely make Lomachenko into their next pay-per-view star, and he has the skills, the tools, the fighting style, the look to be that next guy. And he also has the rivals. I mean, I can't wait to see Lomachenko's next fight, man. There's so many guys he could fight. He just had to hope the market, the money will be there for these guys to take a fight against the challenge that Lomachenko presents. I mean, he's got fights with the Salido rematch. He's got Nicholas Walter still out there. He has the Jason Sosa fight in the future. Javier Fortuna still out there. Miura. Who else? If Gary Russell wants to get his ass whipped again, he could do a rematch. Francisco Vargas is out there. He could also move up to lightweight. There's rivals there. The winner of Linares Crolla. There's Mikey Garcia's out there. Dejan will be an interesting fight. And then, eventually, as Bob Arum's already discussed this, he can envision a fight between Lomachenko and Terence Crawford. And that fight would most likely be down the line, possibly at welterweight, and in Las Vegas on pay-per-view. And that could pretty much determine who was the next pay-per-view star in Top Rank's stable. And the thing with Crawford, he's unified the titles at 140 pounds. But now he's lacking rivals right now. I mean, who can he fight at 140 pounds? There's really no big, intriguing fights there. There's opponents, but there's even some interesting fights, like an Adrian Granados. But not the type of fights he needs to get to that next level. He needs bigger name opponents, more intriguing fights at 140. And right now, there's really nothing at 140 for him that's interesting. Who's he going to fight? Antonio Orozco? Jason Pagara? Those are not big enough names. Nobody knows who Trianowski is. He owes the IBF strap. He already beat Ricky Burns. So those fights are not really that desirable. So, I mean, Crawford could make a defense or two if he wants. But if he wants to continue to have his star rise, he's going to have to move up at some point. And he should be chasing that Manny Pacquiao fight. And he's not doing that. The big reason why he won't get this fight is not because he's not a big draw or he's not a big. It's because he won't move up to welterweight. Now, Manny Pacquiao hasn't fought at 140 in years. Been over, 7 years since he's fought there? I mean, just because his team says that he can still make the weight doesn't mean Manny Pacquiao's gonna. Doesn't mean he's gonna boil down to that weight. If he doesn't have to, he could be comfortable, fight at the weight he's been fighting at for the past 7 years, which is at welterweight, and it could be the big reason why Crawford doesn't get the fight with Pacquiao, because he's not willing to move up in weight just yet, because he just moved up in weight at a few fights back, not too long ago, very recently. He's had a couple of fights. He's already unified the titles. He's already established his name there. He's already established as being the best at 140, and there's really not many desirable fights in that weight class right now. Adrian Broner moved up. A couple of guys have moved up. He already beat the second best guy in the division, the most dangerous opponent. So I think Terence Crawford's team should consider moving up to welterweight sooner rather than later, since there's the Manny Pacquiao fight that they could get. There's a Timothy Bradley. There's a bunch of Heyman guys, but Arum and Heyman have yet to make a fight together despite the settlement. So I believe it when I see it that they could eventually make a fight. I mean, he could eventually fight Thurman, Spence, Danny Garcia. Those are all good fights for Terence Crawford. And the Spence fight would be very difficult because of his size and his physicality, but fights against Thurman, against Garcia, those are winnable fights for Terence Crawford. But it's a big if he can even get those fights. So Crawford's in a situation where if he doesn't get this Manny Pacquiao fight, and it's because of his unwillingness to move up and weight. I mean, Pacquiao shouldn't have to come down to 140 to fight you. You should be trying to chase him. That's your big money fight. Well, other fight out there where you're gonna make as much money fighting Manny, and also you'll get the big name fight against Manny Pacquiao, and a fight that's, in my opinion, more intriguing than Jesse Vargas, because a lot of people think Terence Crawford could beat Manny Pacquiao right now. I mean, who really thinks Jesse Vargas can beat Manny Pacquiao? It might be a better action fight, Jesse Vargas, because if Vargas will come to fight, he'll bring it to Pacquiao. But a lot more people feel Crawford can beat Pacquiao compared to a Jesse Vargas. But tough situation for Crawford right now. I mean, he is the unified champion, but there's some opponents, limited pool of opponents at 140 that can continue to keep his star rising. He needs to work on his relationship with the media, be more open, stop banning some media outlets even just because they talk shit about him or they write a bad story about him. You know, that shit's not cool. Doesn't make him very well likable. That he's placing bans on even on media outlets in his hometown of Omaha. And Crawford needs to get back to not fighting the way he did against Postal. Be more aggressive, gun for the knockout. Show that the counter punching with punching power, and the knockouts he was getting in his run of destroying a lot of handpicked lightweights. But right now, I see Lomachenko as potentially being Top Rank's next pay-per-view star. He's a likable guy, dynamic fighting style, more tools in his arsenal, beautiful to watch. And it's already been put out there by Bob Arum. The Eastern Europeans are invading. They're even dominating in some aspects. I mean, Top Rank's already signed a lot of these guys from that region. A lot of guys that are very skillful, powerful, a lot of potential. And Lomachenko could perhaps be that one Eastern European fighter that will break that pay-per-view barrier and become Top Rank's next pay-per-view star. I think he could do it. I mean, it's not a guarantee, it's not a given, but he's got the potential to do it. He's got the look, he's got the skills, he's got the fighting style. He understands that he needs to entertain, and he's doing that, especially his last few fights, man. He's knocking guys out, looking tremendous in these fights. Just beautiful to watch, and it could end up being a fight down the road if Crawford can't get a Pacquiao fight, which is no guarantee he'll get that fight, because Manny Pacquiao wants the Floyd rematch. He don't give a shit about Terence Crawford. He wants them fight with Mayweather again. So if Crawford doesn't get that fight with Manny Pacquiao, Lomachenko might end up being his big fight down the road, his big pay-per-view fight, perhaps a couple of years from now, in the welterweight division. What will be very interesting fight between the two. And Top Rank's two rising stars in their stable. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.